What up, y'all? I know y'all ain't used to seeing my face. How y'all doing? Y'all are seeing my face for the first time in forever, and I'm by myself this time. Ooh, it's Sunday, so happy Sunday. This is part of my self care Sundays that I'm trying to do and implement every Sunday where I do some self care. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I was like, I want to speak my truth. I thought I'd get up here and talk to y'all a little bit about what's going on, well, what has been going on, where I'm going. So, yeah, this is something I'm going to do because there's so much stuff that has happened months and even years. I feel like y'all don't know me. I feel like from the beginning of this channel, I have never really given y'all like who I am. Who am I? I'm always on the channel as like an afterthought. And my name is on this channel. So I just feel like, y'all need to get to know who I am a little bit. So the thing that I'm about to do is my truth. This is the truth, the raw truth, and nothing but the truth, and complete honesty as only I can tell you. Cool. So I'm gonna let y'all in a little bit. So basically, I'm 24. I'll be 25 in December. It's my silver jubilee. If you don't know what a silver jubilee is, it's a celebration of 25 years of anything. So a silver jubilee is what I'm theming my whole birthday around. So I wanted to make this video to be able to kind of let y'all in and tell y'all where I'm at. My life up to this point has been crazy. Like it has been crazy. I have went places, I've traveled. I lived in Florida for a little while, came back. It was just a lot. I've met friends, I've lost friends, I've my relationships have changed. My relationship and everything has just shifted. And in the beginning, I didn't think that it was a good shift, if you know what I mean. I don't deal with change very well. And I know that now. I went to therapy and I really did not know any other terminology or whatever the case may be. So, reflecting on my life, my mom passed away when I was 3, and my little brother was, I don't know, like 10 months old, I think. It's not starting to affect me until now, which I've learned. I got into a relationship when I was 18. Um, Somebody outed me, I guess. I don't know who did it or who said anything, but we'll get to that later. Life has been good, and I'm grateful for everything that has happened to me so far. Because if it didn't happen, I would not be the person that I am today. I would not be strong. I would not be the person who cares. My heart wouldn't be the same. I just feel like everything that has happened to me, good or bad, in my life so far up to this point, has happened for a reason. I think everybody who's had a hand in that, whether good, bad, or indifferent, because it truly is and has molded me into the person that I want to be and will shape who I am going to be 20 years from now. All right. So I was a senior year. That was my big senior year. Graduation. And my senior year, it was a big year for me. And before senior year started, I knew that I wanted that year to be big. And I really held it at a high standard. I was preparing to go to college. I was applying to different colleges. My biggest college I wanted to go to was Johnson and Wales University. If I were to do it all over again, I probably would have went. I would have not let my dad get into my head. But that's another story for another day. My senior year, I knew I wanted it to be big, and so you know what happens in senior year. You start feeling yourself, and I didn't really start getting to like know who I am or know feelings and emotions about myself until way later on in life. So my 11th grade year and my senior year is really when I started to like dive deep into that. And I prior to this, I met Tajay, and we were talking. I think we started talking that summer or whatever the case. And we started talking that summer before senior year, and well, getting serious, I would say that's summer before senior. I was working at Burger King, I was working at Taco Bell, and I was working at Busch Gardens all at the same time. So the culmination of all this comes to prom. This was like the first major thing that really irritated me, that really like hurt my feelings a little bit. So prom, everybody knows the senior prom is like the biggest thing for a senior to go through. And I had plans. I was gonna. My dad didn't need to do anything. All he needed to do was say yes, I can go to the prom, because I still wanted to ask him, can I go to prom? Like, be respectful. Like, can I go to prom? I asked him, he didn't really give me a straightforward answer, but then I asked him again and he said no. And I'm like, why not? And at this point, I had bought my outfit. The only thing we didn't have planned was after. And, because every scene goes after prom. And after prom was, I don't know, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I get it. I'm still a child. I was living with him, but I felt like I could have went to after prom, but that's not here nor there. So I didn't go to prom. The night of my prom, everybody is looking great, and I'm stuck in the house looking down. So that was one of the first things that really like created a rift. And then fast forward a little bit more, me and my dad are talking, and we're talking about college. And he knew I wanted to go to Johnson Wells. I got accepted into Johnson Wells. I think I have the picture from when I got the letter that I was accepted. I was super duper happy. We are in the car and we're talking, and he's just like, "Well, I'm not paying for college. I'm not helping you pay for anything." And I was like, at first it was that, and it went to this in Charlotte. And what if something happens to you? I let a lot of the negative, which I tend to frequently do, I let the negative self talk and the negative talk influence my own decision because I really wanted to go to that school and I didn't care. I would have worked, mind you, y'all, like I said, I worked at Bush, I worked at Burger King, and I worked at Taco Bell for a little bit. I was hustling. That summer I was hustling. I would have paid my own way to go to college, but I let that negative self talk get into my head and didn't go to college. So graduation comes. Supposed to be a great day. Whoop de woo. I stayed the night at Tajay mom's house or whatever. We were in a relationship at this point. And I didn't hear from my dad. Well, I did. I told him like where it was going and all that. So yeah, so we that morning it was a good morning and we get there to the stadium. It's all love and it's all like a vibe and everything. And that was the first time like I was super duper happy. Like I was super proud of myself and of my accomplishment. I'm hugging my auntie, I'm hugging my grandma, I'm hugging my dad, I'm hugging my family. My brother was there. So, it was a moment. Me and my aunt cried, me and my Gigi cried together. My dad started crying. It was really my day. Or in my head, I felt like it was my day. I feel like everything should have been perfect. But after all that happens, we walk to the car, and my dad is just like, "Hey, let me talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So he pulls me onto the side, and he was like, "So do you have a boyfriend?" And he was like, "Well, why does everybody else know, but I don't?" And I'm like, you couldn't have waited to ask me these questions after. You could have waited till the day after or whatever the case may be. But you chose to ask me that day. On the day I felt like was supposed to be my day, where it was supposed to be positive and all this stuff. It threw my whole mood off. And I'm still mad about this to this day. Because I feel like you ruined a moment that was about me and made it into something that doesn't really matter at all. So that happens. And after that happened, me and my dad were in a very rough spot. It was just miscommunication on both of our parts. And for my part, I can say I wasn't open to communicating because I felt disrespected and I felt like I didn't trust anybody at that time. And I felt like really I just couldn't speak on anything. And because I felt like every time we would try to speak on stuff, it would turn into an argument, it would turn into yelling. If you know me personally, you know I hate confrontation. I genuinely am like the most non-confrontational person in the world. And I hate arguing. I hate yelling. I hate raising my voice. I feel like I need to be very demure, very cutesy. And that's what I've learned. I don't have to be confrontational to set a boundary. Setting a boundary and being confrontational are two different things. I can set a boundary and not be confrontational. And at that point, I was acting out of being confrontational. I wasn't really open to speaking. I really moved into Tajay mom's house, but wasn't officially moved. And I was there every other day though. So that happens. And one day, me and my dad, I don't know how this happened, but really my dad wanted me to pay for my car insurance. And I felt like at that time, being young and being not dumb, but just being young and being more so just like I don't give a F about anything and Everybody's out to get me. I was just like, man, I'm not paying for no car insurance. Mind you, I had 3 jobs. So I'm an adult. I could have paid for my own car insurance. But I felt like at the time he was only doing it to saying that to be mean to me or to, make me feel away or anything like that. So this particular day, he asked for the money and we're in the car and he drives past me or whatever the case may be and he sees me and I'm just like, okay. He calls my phone and he's like, come back to the house or whatever. So I go back to the house and he's like, where's my money? And I'm like, what money? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? So that happens. And then after that whole debacle and that whole thing on the phone, me and Tajay drive off and we're pulling up to the light or whatever. And these 2 people that were in my dad's circle rolled down the window and said to me and Tajay, your dad said to tell the to bring the car back to the house. So then Tajay, being Tajay, just in defense of trying to defend me, tries to jump out the window to fight them. And I'm like, no. And it's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm just going to drive off. So I end up driving the car back to the house. A year later, everything was confirmed that he never said that. So to both of you, you will crumble for saying that. You will crumble. Nothing good will come to you. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyways, so he goes about that. So I drop the car off and me and Tajay walk to McDonald's. I call my aunt, tell her what's going on. She comes and gets me, whatever. We go for the rest of the day. We're doing stuff with my aunt. It's whatever. Then I call my dad or he calls me or whatever. And he tells me to come back to the house. So we drive back to the house. I'm going upstairs and I'm like, okay, I'll be out. I think I said like, I'll be out real quick. Like it's not even gonna be this serious. Like I was going to grab some clothes and that's why I went back home. I was like, I need to go grab some clothes. I'm staying the night again. So I was like, me and my dad start talking and talking turns into an argument and the argument turns into getting physical. I didn't get physical with him. My dad's a big ass nigga. I'm not fighting him. You got that. You got that, twin. But anyway, so all culminates to him throwing my stuff downstairs. He kind of like jostled me and kind of like dragged me down the steps. And I had a box. I wish I had a picture of the box now, but I don't have a picture of that damn box. He packed all my stuff into a box, and that was my box. And he said, get the F out. So me and him are going back and forth arguing, and it's just a lot going on. And so I do remember him telling me give him his keys. So I gave him the keys, and I was kicked out officially. Now that really hurt because I was like, my dad thought I was stealing money from my little brother, and that never was the case. He just thought that. My personal opinion is that he kicked me out because he didn't like the fact that I was queer. But hey, we have 2 different opinions on that even now, but we're past that now. But that really hurt me. That put me into a state of survival mode. And because I was literally surviving. Like, had I not moved in with Tajay Mama, I would literally have nowhere to go. I would have been on the streets. So that put the biggest rift between me and my dad. That was like the nail in the coffin. Like, we're finito. So weeks later, my dad texts me and we were talking about the car, and from when my mom passed away, I guess in the state of Virginia or whatever, you get a check for a parent that passed. Every year since my mom had passed away, we were getting this money. I'm gonna call it parental support. But yeah, so you get it when your parent passes away and you're young. So he was like, okay, you can have the car, just use this check and take the car. And so that's what I did. And I didn't look back. I never looked back and I never moved back. And me and him didn't speak we spoke, but it was not like, we didn't speak about it. Having only one parent that's living and y'all don't have the best relationship, that sucks. And I was so young. I was only 18 at the time. I really thought I was big grown, but no, you're not necessarily grown. You're just learning. And I basically had to learn everything new. So that's what happened in 2018. So we're going to jump from that point to moving to Florida. So me and Tajay decide to move to Florida with his aunt Shalonda, who I love dearly. Love you. So we love her. We love you, Shalonda. But anyways, so I'm not going to say what happened in Florida. I'm just going to say a series of unfortunate events happened in Florida. So we moved back to we moved back to Virginia after the series of unfortunate events. And I really hope that she doesn't feel like just because all that stuff happened that was kind of like, I just don't want her to feel bad for what happened. Even though she says today, like, I hope she's okay with that. Like, things happen for a reason, like I said. So after the series of unfortunate events, we moved back to Virginia. And at the time, I didn't know it. But now that I know it, I was severely traumatized and severely depressed. So me and Tajay's relationship shifted. And I was closed in. I didn't want any of affection. It wasn't me doing it on purpose. I just didn't understand. It was taking my brain and my mental longer to readjust to everything. And from 2019 to 2023, I held on to that baggage and held on to everything. And I blamed everyone else. And I blamed myself, but no one should have been blamed. It was nobody's fault. And the only thing that Tajay was wanting to do was just like comfort me. And I didn't understand that I didn't want to be comforted. I wanted whatever happened to just go away from my mind. I wanted it to leave, but I learned that I was severely depressed and I was severely traumatized and triggered and everything. I was just in a state of trauma. So after that happens, I can't speak for Tajay. I can only speak for me. After that happens, we try to reacclimate our relationship. So we move into this apartment. This is our first apartment together. I think y'all seen a video of that, or we posted something about that house or apartment. That first apartment was a lot of shit. A lot of stuff went on in that apartment. That was low-key the trap house. Because everybody came. Even though it wasn't the same as before we left, we had fun times. So then, I'm just give y'all the rundown. We got robbed. We had a Halloween party. These people trashed our house. We got robbed. They took everything, all of our food, our rags, towels, bed stuff, cleaning products, just completely wiped out. We were literally wiped out. So I just had to highlight that because that was insane. That was really insane. Like when I say it was a trap house, people was doing cocaine, people did crack, there was homeless people in my house, no offense, but that's just what it was. And this was not my idea, this was Tajay's idea. He brought people over. The idea of people doing drugs was not his idea, but the idea to have all these people in the house was definitely his idea. It was never my idea, but whatever. This comes to the culmination of after they left. So after I'm not going to call them cokeheads, after the addicts left the house. Well, actually, two of them weren't addicts. Two of them were not addicts. And if they see this video, if they do, y'all were not addicts. And y'all necessarily weren't homeless. I'll say the cokeheads were homeless. They know who they are. Nothing good will come to you. Especially after you stole my stuff. Like, I would have been fine you stole my house and stuff, but you stole food. Exactly. You stole food. Exactly. Who steals food? How broke do you have to be to steal food out of a refrigerator? And I'm not going to post the pictures. I'm not going to insert them in here. But I say all that to say our house is bare. So after this happens, me and Tajay are good. We're trying to rebuild our relationship and get acquainted. Because at this point, at that apartment, we had never had more than 2 or 3 months to ourselves. There was consistently people in the house staying there with us. That was like, it was more so everybody else's house than it was ours. Because we had people staying there with us all of the time. So a little bit after that happens, we're good, or as good as we could be. And I get a text message. I'm sitting at work, mind y'all. I get a text message, and Tajay's like, he was talking to his dad, and Brandon, which is Tajay's brother, He wasn't answering the phone, or he wasn't doing so well in school. I don't know the story, and I don't want to get too deep into that because conflicting things that there's conflicting. It's all too much. But anyways, he wasn't doing well in school. He just wasn't answering the phone. Tajay's dad was like, call Brandon. And so, or text him or whatever. So he tries to text, Brandon doesn't answer. Or I don't know if he answered, he texted one time or whatever. So yeah, that happens. Then Tajay texts him and Brandon's like, I took care of it. I got it. So then I'm at work. I think maybe an hour or two goes by. You're just thinking, okay, you're in school. You're having a hard time. You may have got some things going on. I get it because I was in the same position. I understand. So then Tajay texts me and it was like a very weird text message. Tajay just wasn't feeling like he just felt like off about the whole situation. Something just felt off. And I think I kept telling Tajay, I was just like, well, just call him, just keep calling him, just check on him. Just like, check on him, see if anything's going on or whatever. Just check on him, like, talk to him. That's your brother. You gotta at least talk to him and, tell him. So he does all that or whatever. And then, I don't know if this is how Tajay found out, but this is how point blankly Tajay told me. Tajay was just like, Brandon's dead. Huh? Where did we go from he just texts you to Brandon's dead? Like, what is going on here? And at first, I did not believe him. I told him, I was like, no, he's not. Like, what do you... and when he said it, I'm more so thinking, you know how you say, oh, your parent is coming back in town, you're dead, like, I'm dead, like, I'm going to get my ass whooped, like, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I really thought it was that, so I didn't really think too much of it until he texted it again and was like, no, Brandon is dead. And I'm like, huh? Mind y'all, I don't know why I was having a meltdown, but I started having a freaking meltdown. I called my brother. I'm on the phone crying and everything. I'm just like, you do this, please do what you need to do, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just crying my heart out. And I didn't go across the water to go see Brandon like that. And I'm glad I didn't. Tajay did. And I can't speak for him. I'm sure he's healed from that era, but at the time, that I would hate to be that. So I was like, wow, Brandon really passed away. And I didn't know that Brandon would have such a profound effect on me. Because I felt like me and Brandon weren't close. But Brandon really considered me as a brother. And I felt really bad. Oh God. Bitch, you're really crying. I really felt horrible because I felt like maybe there would be something I could have done to prevent him from passing away. And I felt like I don't know why that affected me in the way that it did. Like, what? Because losing it was different when Nana passed away. And it was different it's different. But when he was so young. He wasn't even, I don't think he was 18 yet. He was so young. And to have so much life and to just have that shit ripped away so easily and so quickly and just at a young age, that is insane. Bro, oh God, I'm such a baby crying about this. My brain really blocked this out. So Brandon, that happens or whatever, and we're all going through grief or whatever the case may be. We're going through grief, but that happens. Then that pushes Tajay to be more spiritual and get into his spiritual bag. And at first, I was not into. I was like, this is witchcraft. This is literal witchcraft. What are you talking about? This is witchcraft. You're gonna be doing spells and stuff. Whoa. How far we've come. But anyways, my ex-best friend moves in because they just wanted to move out of their home and experience life and be an adult, essentially. So I say sure. I don't really necessarily run it by Tajay, which is, again, my fault. I really just was like, can he stay here? And more so, I think to the point where he had already moved in and he was just there. And I'm like, yeah, he's just here. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, he's just here. Like, he needed a place to stay, so let's stay here. Why not stay here with me? Because I felt like that was my friend. He would want to do it for me, so I was gonna do it for them, and that was that. Tajay was leaving, so the whole time they were there, Tajay left to go to Georgia to be with his family, and it was a very long time. He stayed in Georgia for like a month, and yeah, so he comes back. He's on edge. He's on 10 because he doesn't want anybody in the house. And my ex-friend was just more so like, well, I'm here. What do you want? Like, and me, I'm just like, y'all both need to just chill out or whatever. Y'all just need to chill out. So after my best friend had moved out, MJ, what's up, M? We love you, by the way. Tajay's best friend moves in, and he brings this dog with him. His name is Red. We love Red. Red was a crazy dog, and he used to get on Thor's nerves a lot, but he was such a nice and sweet, affectionate dog. If you would have heard Red's bark, you would think something is seriously wrong with this dog. But that's just who he was. Red was just a special case, all in his own. Shout out to Red. That happens. My dog, my baby Thor, passes away. Very suddenly. It was very sudden. My little baby. My baby Eris was in the car with us when we went to take Thor, because Thor was having seizures from what they went to find out. Thor was having seizures. We didn't know he was having seizures, but he was having seizures, and we were in the hospital, well, the vet, and we would go see him, and Thor was not Thor. If you knew Thor, Thor was always like up and, well, no, he was not. Thor was a lazy dog. Thor was very lazy. Thor was very lazy. He was attentive. He was, when we went to go see him in the vet, that was not him. He was not there. And for the life of me, I kept trying to call his name, and I kept trying to like get him to come to me, and he would not do it. But he would circle around, and he would just keep walking. I'm just like, Lord, this dog is just, whew. Thor was just, he was not himself. And so then we end up taking him to another vet. And then suddenly Thor passes away, which crazy. So the whole ride back home was dead silent. Rest in peace to Thor. I love him so much. That was my baby. That was everybody's baby, but that was my baby. That was my baby. Yeah, that was my baby. Everybody says I have favoritism, that I favor Thor over Eris, and even I favor Thor over Loki sometimes. I don't. Thor was just that nigga. Thor was just that dog. But I love Eris and I love Loki just the same. But yeah, so me and Tajay both really gets into like our spiritual bag, our spirituality. This is where it comes to like where I'm learning about my sense of self and everything like that happens. And so after Thor passes away, this was right around the time our lease at the old house was ending, and Tajay didn't want to be there anymore. And neither, rightfully so, and I didn't want to be there anymore either. So we moved to this apartment, this beautiful, beautiful house apartment, which this is home. We've made this home. This is home for us. This is our comfort. This is our shit. This is us. So we move into this house, and everything is looking up for our relationship. We're actively working. I started therapy. I'm actively trying to be a better partner to Tajay, and Tajay's doing the same. And we had many more happier moments in this house than in the previous house. We were gradually, working towards our relationship being stronger, and just like this, because but it's like this. Tajay's my nigga. Like, all relationship, that's a funny ass man. Like, he's a good friend. 10 out of 10. If you fumble him as a friend, you're dumb. But anyways, so we move into this house, and we're making it home, and we're doing everything like that. Me and Tajay's relationship was steady. We were steady. And so after that, we're at a high point. We're at a high point, pretty high point. Both of us are in therapy at the same time. So as I'm learning how to grieve and get over my grief and reacclimate myself and just get to know who I am base level, Tajay is learning about himself. Tajay reveals to me that he is interested in being a polyamorous person. Now, if you don't know what polyamorous is, it is the ability to love or have feelings for more than one person. And at that time, I didn't know what that was. I was like, what is that? That sounds like you want to be sister wives. Or that show, The Cults, where they just have like 80 different husbands and wives. That's But yeah, so he said that, and at first I was not on board with it at all. I think I gave him a very hard time with it. It rocked my world a little bit. But what rocked my world even more is that, fuck it. So basically, my ex best friend was coming back and moved back to Virginia, or whatever the case may be. They moved back, and so this was the first time me and my best friend were getting to know each other. And we're getting to know each other, and just, because we know each other, but we're getting to cultivate our relationship, our friendship more. It was much more. That was my friend. Like, this was somebody that I wanted at my wedding when I get married one day. This is somebody that I wanted to be godparents to my children, that I trusted. I truly trusted this person. I trusted them. And so a little while after he, talks about polyamory, he then goes and is like, I feel like I have a connection with your best friend and I want to cultivate that relationship. Being that I've only been with this person for my majority of my adulthood, I say hell no. I was not messing with it at all. I gave both of them a hard time. I was like, oh no, that's not happening. Nope. I sat both of them down on the couch and I said, I don't feel comfortable with either one of y'all having relations with each other, whether that be just talking. I don't feel comfortable with y'all having a sexual relationship. Do you want to know the tea? Tajay was telling me the truth. One thing I can say about Tajay is going to tell the truth. Tajay is not going to sugarcoat it, no matter how harsh it may sound. He's not going to tell it. He's not going to tell a lie. He may tell a joke, but he will not tell a lie. So Tajay's birthday comes up. So Tajay's birthday comes up, and I'm just going to say this and be as honest as I can. Tajay's birthday comes up. A little bit after that, we found out that Nana had cancer, and sadly, Nana was really, really sick, and Nana had passed away. Tajay's friend came down for the funeral, and my best friend was here. We were all here. Our love, Nature, love you girl, is here. And a couple other friends came, and we were all here for Tajay because Tajay was taking it the worst out of everybody. That really hurt him to his heart because that's your grandma. So and I loved her too. Now, mind you, I seen her the night she had passed. We were taking care of her or whatever, and I was super sick, so I wasn't in the room with her to talk to her, to tell her. I didn't tell her bye. I didn't tell her anything that night. I had to leave because I was super, super sick, and I feel so bad for that. But she knows that. She knows I was there. If she would have called me in there, I would have hopped my little sick ass up, put on my gloves, and would have just went on in there to do whatever she needed me to do. So I'm content. She knows how much I loved her, and I know how much she loved me too. So some stuff happens with the best friend and Tajay's friend. And I was never going to know about it until I was put in it. So my best friend told Tajay that something was happening or something had happened. And Tajay had asked me, do you know about this? And me it doesn't justify anything I did. I was totally wrong in not saying anything. But in my head, I was more so like, It was not my situation to tell you. It was not my place. They were going to tell you. I wanted them to tell you. Whatever. I should have hollered like a dog. This was red flag number one. Red flag number one. Numero uno with this person, with my best friend, ex-best friend. Numero uno. Numero uno. Strike one. So that happens. Tajay's mad at both of us. Sometime later, he gets over it. We apologize. I apologize. He genuinely, he was upset at me, but he was more so upset at both of them, more so at the time. And when Tajay's upset, Tajay says a lot of mean and hurtful things. And he said a lot of mean and hurtful things. And it doesn't make it right, but I understand because I probably would have did the same thing. Well, I did. We're getting to that. So the friend leaves or whatever. Tajay and my best friend are getting closer. And this is where the issue stems. This is strike two. Me and my friend would talk about the situation at hand, and he would tell me that he would have to be drunk to have sex with Tajay. He would have to be under the influence to do all this. He would have to be, out of mind when this all happened. And he would tell me how much he wasn't interested in Tajay, that he just wanted Tajay as a friend, and that Tajay was just his friend, and he didn't want to mess up the relation, which all that could have been true, but you were lying about, you would lie and say to Tajay, oh, I wish I would have cleaned out this night, and it would be like, if only, whatever he said in the messages, or he was just basically telling me one thing and telling Tajay another thing. Do you, boo, but don't lie about it. Don't lie about it. Don't lie. Don't lie. Why do you have to lie about it? So that happens, and then they both have relations. I'm not going to go into details with what that means. I'm going to let y'all think on what that means. They have relations. I snap. I was not necessarily upset. I was upset at both of them. But I was more so upset at my friend because you literally told me that. I'm lying. Brief backtrack. So the day they had relations, I was at work. I come home. My friend is acting very weird, not talking to me for real, not looking me in my eyes, not doing anything. And they had left. It was very weird. I was like, okay, don't say anything. So come to find out, that was the day that they had relations. And you, instead of being real and my friend for over 5 years at that point, you withheld information from me. So some stuff happens a little while later. Tajay finds out some stuff going on, and rightfully so, he starts cursing him the fuck out. Rightfully so. And at first, I was more so gonna let Tajay curse him out, but then he said something. I don't even remember what he said. He said something in the message to Tajay. It was along the lines of, well, I was only doing this to protect Malik and Malik's feelings. And that pissed me the fuck off. That pissed me off. Because if you were doing it for me, you wouldn't have fucking done it in the first place, you stupid bitch. But anyways, so I start going in on him in my messages. I'm just going crazy out the mouth. Crazy. Like, F you, did this, don't like. So I created a divide between us. And that really hurt my feelings. Because I felt like, why lie? Like, the thing that hurt me the most was, it wasn't what happened. It wasn't any of that. It was just the fact that they lied about it. And they were consistently lying about it. Like, I would get shown messages about the things they said. And it was just like, this is not the same person that was your friend. So that created a divide between us. And I didn't speak to them at all. And I lost a friend. Mm-mm. And that was my best friend. Like my best friend, due to the fact that they lied. They lied the entire time to me. And that really hurt my feelings. Like, why lie to me? You feel me? But I don't wish them any bad. I don't wish nothing bad to happen to them. I hope that they prosper in their life without me. That'll hurt them more than anything, that I'm not in their life. I'm good. I hurt. I felt that pain, but I moved on. Period. And you gotta charge it the game. People gonna do stuff to you. And you're gonna lose friends, but you're gonna gain a whole lot more friends. Period. So after all this happens, I still am struggling with my sense of self. And say I wanted to do karate, it would always be no. Or I didn't hang out with friends. I didn't grow up hanging out with a lot of friends. I didn't grow up doing things that kids should have done as kids. So getting older and all this stuff is happening, it's like I don't know who I am at all. And in therapy, my therapist would tell me to find yourself, you have to quiet your mind and you have to think and really find things that make you happy. And in this one session, I'll never forget, this one session in therapy, she was like, because I was grieving my mom and grieving like loss of friendships and the changes in me and Tajay's relationship. And she was like, well, if you want to speak to your mom, just close your eyes and imagine her in a space, in anywhere. Just close your eyes and imagine her sitting right next to you and talk to her. And so I did. And in turn, she showed me, or I showed myself. Sorry, you heard Loki again. I showed myself this world that was peaceful. I showed myself this world that in my head that was peaceful, that was full of like love and light, and it became my inner sanctuary. It's my inner sanctuary. It's where y'all know me as Malik, but ohkejaun, that's where ohkejaun lives, and that's the inner kid in me that is creative, that wants to create and wants to be this creative person. And that birthed the idea to start a candle company. But not only a candle company, it inspired me to birth this idea of a empire. And the empire the name is called Agartha. And Agartha is in reference to this theory, this idea that there is an entire universe and world within our world that is nothing but peaceful, that are filled with lush greeneries and animals and fairies and angels. And the way I can describe it, how I think of it, is more like, think Alice in Wonderland, but on steroids. Literally. And so Agartha has become my identity, my brand. I'm making candles that kind of represent that. And I want to go into doing fragrances and more stuff. And the core of it, I want everyone, whether you're whoever, to be free and accept yourself as you are, and accept yourself with no judgment, and accept yourself, period, because you are enough. And I had to that's where that came from. I had to tell myself, I am enough. I am enough just as I am right now. And Agartha is that philosophy for me. It's my brand. It is my identity. It is who I am. And we're just getting started. And Agartha is an outlet as a whole, not just candles, but as an outlet for me to be creative, to express my creative desires, to express myself through fashion, multimedia, social media, whatever I want to do creatively. That is what I want. But the candles are just the start. The candles are just the foundation. I think of them as the roots of this tree that is going to grow and grow and grow with me. It's going to evolve as I evolve. As I said, I'm turning 25 at the end of this year, my silver jubilee. And with this year, I want to achieve all of my goals. One of those goals is to express every creative outlet that I want to do this year. I want to just be as creative as I can, and I have so many goals and plans within my personal relationship, but also with my relationship with Tajay. And I have so many things. There are so many things coming that I just cannot wait for you guys to see them. And this channel, this video, it's a coming back, but a coming back to self. And I can't tell you what the future of this channel is going to be, but I can tell you that I'm going to do more to be creative and find ways to be creative on this channel. And I'm not saying it's going to be a consistent thing, because I'm not a consistent person. I'm not. One day I want to do this, then the next day I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep all day. But I can promise you I'm promising myself that I wake up every day and I do it in truth, and I do it to the fullest extent. And I grow through it, and I learn something through it every day. Yeah. Thank y'all so much for watching. I know I've yapped a lot. But this is a little bit of me, and I hope that y'all can relate to this in any form, or I hope I can just be like the messenger, or anybody can learn a lesson from me. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for answering the call. Bye. Period.